everybody? It's your favorite quarter portion's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Black Series Rise of Skywalker Rey and her little friend Dio, which we'll talk about at some point. She comes with pretty much the same exact accessories she's always come with, but there is something I think is a bit different about them. I'm gonna cross-reference it and get to the bottom of it, but it might be a spoiler. I'll show you what I mean. So first and foremost, she comes with her little droid. Unfortunately, I don't know what I'm doing here, but like I can't get him to stand because it's a circle, right? Not a square that has 4 corners or a triangle that has 3 sides, but more like a circle. So that's a bummer. We do have nice paint, weathering paint, green paint, black paint, this gunmetal paint here. This articulates, well, really it's the wheel that articulates. This is sort of locked in position. The head is on a ball peg, so that's nice. All of these little antennae are on small little ball pegs, so like that's nice. I just don't know how to get him to stand. It's frustrating. So, I mean, silly. They should have either leveled off a side here, which again would prevent him from rolling, or have like some sort of lock. But I mean, if there is a lock, I certainly can't figure it out. I've pushed it to each side. I don't know. Kind of a bummer. Also, the silver paint here is kind of hit or miss as well on the kind of piston here. But yeah, I don't know about this thing. E for effort kind of deal. She has a lightsaber. It's been mended, as you can see, so it's slightly different. The blade is removable, but you know how I feel about these. The pegs, they never sit quite right once you take them out and put them back in. Blue translucent, I want a white rod through the center. You know how I feel about that. Silver paint here, and then some kind of brown paint and gold paint. Looks good enough, and she can hold it. She comes with the pistol Han gave her once again. We have silver paint and the same sculpt work we've seen a handful of times. Speaking of hands, she'll hold that just fine in her trigger finger hand, and it will also fit in her holster. She also comes with her staff. And at first glance, it looks like just another re-release, and we have all sorts of paint, brown paint, and kind of a beige paint, this olive paint here, silver paint, completely painted, sculpted nice enough. And I was like, oh, well, you know, we've seen that before, right? Because that looks similar, would you agree? I certainly would. But this one is definitely one piece, right? This one is not. This one comes into 3 pieces. I'm not sure why. I'm guessing it. Oh no. Another piece as well. So you can take the strap kind of completely off of this one and have this look. Huh. I'm probably the only one that thinks that's interesting. But I would have to imagine that she ditches the strap at some point in the movie, because like otherwise, why go through this? Although I may have broken this. No, I'm going on the wrong side. So, yeah. Right? Why do this if she doesn't do that? Take the strap off or break it into a few pieces, right? Or have it broken. Either way, she'll hold it just fine. Lastly, I'm not sure if it's an accessory or not, but she comes with their backpack, and it kind of sits nicely across. It's decent enough sculpt, and we have the paint on there. And let's talk about the figure. So she has the digital face paint. It's a, you know, it's a decent lightness, kind of like the angle you catch it from. But it is amazing at the kind of leaps and bounds they've made throughout the history of it. You know what I mean? And then the hair is painted on. Looks good enough. It's a double ball peg from the head into the neck, down, up, side to side, attitude, etc. Kind of. It's just interesting. Maybe I'll get out some other ones so we can take a look down memory lane. We have a single ball peg. Actually, yeah, it's a single ball peg stem from the pelvis into the abdomen. Decent range, teacup, forward and back, swivel, all that works. And then we have these pieces that are like glued into the chest. So the chest is this color plastic here, and then they paint on the skin tone, and then they have indentations where this piece glues in. And then the hooded piece glues into that. So it's layers to it, and it makes it successful. We've kind of already talked about the backpack. All right, so then we have this soft piece of plastic over top. That's painted kind of fair, a little touch and go on the belt. It's a different shade brown here than it is there. Kind of sketch. So that's not the best. And then we have this flap here and there and on the side, which does limit articulation on the T-jointed ball joints for hips, especially on this leg. Forward and back, not so much. We had the thigh swivel, a double jointed knee for the full run. Down here we have some paint issues. There's a lot of paint defects in a lot of this wave for me. But ankle tilt up, ankle tilt down, and a rocker, and kind of decent sculpt work throughout. Decent sculpt work in the pants, the knee pads, etc. in the pants. And then the boots have decent sculpt work on, like the laces in the back are all sculpted. So there's a lot of great sculpt work here. The paint is kind of hit or miss, once again, which is something I've been seeing more and more with this wave. I mean, even in the hairline, they kind of missed a piece there. So not the best in that regard. Size comparison, there she is with Ren. So I couldn't find all of my rays from 7. So we're going to use Last Jedi Ray. So if you look at these, if I can get her hair sorted out. The one on the left is the old school style of painting. And then the one in the middle is kind of one of the first attempts at the digital face paint. And then this is the modern attempt. So like, just look at that improvement. This is 2 years ago, you know, just look at that improvement. It is something to take note of. Final thoughts wise, the negatives are really the paint, and I've been seeing it more and more with this wave. It's just kind of like not what I'm used to with this company in regards to their Star Wars stuff. They usually do a pretty good job of painting their figures. We usually see more paint care with their figures than we see with pretty much anything else that Hasbro produces. So it's a little disheartening to see a lot of these paint errors. Now, to be fair, there's a lot of paint on a lot of these guys, so maybe that might have something to do with it. And as I've been thinking about it more, the difference in the weapon might be just to wrap the weapon around her and make it easy to kind of like have her hold it in place that way. I wasn't thinking about that, but that probably is the case. I wonder how many comments I got about that already. But that's really it for the negatives. Positives wise, it's great to see the leaps and bounds they've made with their digital face paint. It's not perfect yet, but they just keep trying, which is nice. I also hate that the little droid doesn't have a way to stand up. I want to mention that as well. Everything else is kind of standard fare for Black Series. There's nothing really spectacular nor disappointing for the rest of it. It's just kind of what you would expect. I will say the layers of plastic and the way they did it to make it seem like she's not in a Stay Puft Marshmallow suit with all those different layers of fabric and how they cut in grooves to glue them in and so on and so forth really is nicely done, and definitely took some care and some pride to do so. So I want to make sure that I give them credit for that as well. It's a soft recommend for me. I'm sure the Figuarts will kind of blow it out of the water. That's been my experience anyway, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm getting that one as well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.